What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another F-150 video, and this is going to be a good one because this is a very common issue. You may or may not already know what I'm talking about, and that is the rear window leak. Doesn't matter if you have a sliding window, solid window, defrost, no defrost, single cab, crew cab, whatever you have, they all leak because it's the same type of sealant that they use from the factory, and that is butyl tape. Does it work? Yes. Does it last? Nope. So this one leaks. As you can see, I have professionally fabricated my own seal for the past year because I didn't have time to fix it, but it's time to fix it right, and that is, well, with another roll of butyl tape. I'm going to link some butyl tape in the description. This I bought off of Amazon, but really any butyl tape will do. You just need a lot of it because it needs to go around the entire window, so you want to make sure you measure it and get enough. And to do this, it might sound like a big job. It's kind of sort of a big job just because you're dealing with a large piece of glass that you want to be careful with. If you have a cover, a tonneau cover, a soft one, that's actually a benefit because when I take this glass out, I can lay it back on this. If you just have an open bed, well, I don't know, hopefully you have a helper or something, maybe put a couple 2x4s here to lay this on with a blanket. If you have a bed cap, you're gonna have to remove it because it's gonna be in the way of removing this glass. It comes out from the backside and it is bolted in from the inside. We do not have to take the headliner down, but we do have to pull the side trim pieces off over there. Obviously, you know, car seat, any of this. Fold the seats, pull this panel off that sits back there, and basically remove this. You don't necessarily have to take this trim off. I may, just to reseal it, because this also has bolts going around it, and I just want to make sure everything is good. So having said that, well, let's get right to work. Just a quick tip for the job we're about to do. We're gonna have to keep the doors open for quite a while. The cab lights will stay on, so to avoid that, take your key or a screwdriver, lock the latch. The truck will now think the doors are closed, and it will shut the light off. So now you can keep them open as long as you want, do your work, and not drain your battery. So I'm gonna try and pop these push clips and hopefully just pry this panel away, because we don't have to take the bottom half of these pillars off, just the top half that goes up and around the seatbelt and the headliner, so we can expose the screws, the bolts, well, mounting nuts. That should give us access. I'm trying to remove as little stuff as possible. By the way, any tools that you see, I'm gonna link in the description. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't own one of these trim tools for years, and I was just using screwdrivers and whatever else I had, and it was horrible. So I highly recommend one of these. Oh, where'd that go? I guess these can get unscrewed as opposed to pulled out. Oh yeah, plenty of space. Let me show you what's going on. So doing that gives us access to all of these bolts, well, nuts that hold on the window, as well as that trim piece, both of which will be coming out. Like I said, you don't have to remove the trim piece, but I will. So next are going to be the C-pillar covers. So we're going to take the seat belt out. There's a 15mm nut holding the seat belt onto this pivot point. Okay, pull this off. This will allow us to pull this trim piece completely off. I will, however, put the mounting nut back on. That's not going to be in our way. I have the wrench in my hand, so I'm just going to do the same over here. That way I can put this down and just remove the C-pillar trim. Okay. Oh yeah, you just pry on it. Oh, has to go straight that way. Be careful if you have a defroster not to rip the wire off. I'm just gonna unplug it now. There's a hook here that I can see, like a metal clamp. There we go. I was just trying to pry it apart. It's pretty tough. Oh, it's bolted on. Let's do this the right way. Let me get a tool. So here's what's happening. I pried that clip out, and then it turns out there's a nut there, so I'm going to unbolt this, and then there's another one right down there. I'm going to get both of these out, but you know, this panel's already half out, so I'm just going to continue removing it. It's actually 3/4 of the way out, so I'll do it the right way on that side. On this side, pop it. There we go. Basically, I was going in here trying to hook onto these and pop them apart. From what I heard, these are 9mm. This is the tool you're never going to use, except for now. This socket has never been used. I've literally never used a 9mm, except for hammering it over a rusty 10. So this is what was supposed to happen. You unbolt this, and then the trim piece comes off. And if you haven't already, don't forget to unplug your rear defroster, unless you don't have one. Let's go to the other side and do basically the same thing, but the right way this time. Alright, so let's do this one the right way. Weather stripping, pop it. Alright, well, this is kind of half and half here. Half the right way, half the wrong way. I don't think there really is a right and wrong way. This is pretty much all we have to do to get this off. Now we just have to pry this away, get all the bolts down here for the glass. Up here, if you pull the headliner down, you have a ratcheting wrench. You should be able to get to them, and we'll carefully push it and lay it back on the tonneau cover. Before I go further, I should probably remove this horrible looking tape. I'm sorry, professionally installed seal. Gonna have a lot of sticky residue cleanup to do. I'll deal with the rest later. Let's get the window off. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but just get all the mounting nuts off. I'll show you what it looks like once I'm done. They're all the same, by the way. I'm just gonna take the nuts for the trim off as well since I'm here. I don't want to come back. Same nuts, same size, 9mm on everything. On each corner, the bolts for the trim piece are actually up through the roof, I guess. You have to stick an extension with a socket up there. There's a cutout for it, you'll see it. That's quality. Try not to bend this too much, the headliner. Yeah, the trim piece up top is going to be a little tricky to get to, but I'll figure something out. I guess we'll take the glass off first. I'm thinking once the glass is off, I have a swivel head ratchet that I can stick through the outside and get to the two nuts that are left for the trim piece up top. Just like in the corner, a little cutout. I will get the corner though. Oh, I did it. I see it. I'm gonna go grab a magnet. Got it. All right, well, we're ready to push the window out. Just be very careful. Oh, something's happening. Oh, I'm doing it. Oh, it's coming off. It's coming off. Oh, it's bending. Slow. Alright. Oh, stay. Don't go too far. Yes. Okay. Stuck. There we go. My plan has succeeded. So now, there's a lot of cleanup to do. But also, you can kind of tell right here and right there. Let me zoom in, because I found the leak. Okay, you see that spot right there that has dirt on it? Yeah, that was not sealed up. That was one of the leaks. And then over there, see the same thing? Another leak, and those are the exact spots that rain was actually coming into the truck, dripping on the headrests. I guess it was a success. Now we should get the trim piece off. So I'm gonna get a flex head ratchet so I can get up in there and pop it off. So I'm gonna get the two last mounting nuts from up there. We also have to remove the third brake light. My trim piece is actually broken right there. I completely forgot because it's been taped up for over a year. And obviously then we'll get to cleaning. I guess we're, oh wow, that is melted. That's a little bit melted. Danger. Let's get some LEDs in here. Wow. Alright, so if you stick your hand in here, you'll feel where the mounting nut is. There's one here, nothing in the middle. Okay, so at this point, this trim should come off, unless I forgot. Ah, there is more. Here and here. Oops. Hey, where is it? Ah, found it. Okay, so yeah, this comes off now. There are two plastic clips on the bottom here on each corner. You'll have to pinch those. I got a needle and those pliers for that, and then this can be removed. Easy peasy. Oh, that's broken. I got a broken bolt. Okay. This is the little squeeze tab here. You just give it a little. Well, like I said, it's cleanup time, so I'm just going to take a, well, screwdriver's the best thing I have at this point, and scrape everything away carefully, not trying to scratch the paint or anything and create rust spots. It's actually, speaking of rust, this is very clean. There is not a speck of rust on here, and I was actually expecting to see some rust due to the leak, but there isn't. So, that's great. I just got to clean this up, and then I'll just take a sponge or a towel, and I have to wipe all of that dirt off because I will be putting butyl tape around every single one of these holes. You have to plug them, otherwise the water will leak inside. So just do your best. Okay, trim piece is going in. I'm gonna start in all of the mounting nuts for the trim piece now. Otherwise it's not going to seat all the way. I don't want to wait. I want that butyl tape to stick on. Tightening these is, well, I guess not easy, only because you have to make sure you really don't over tighten them. I'm just using a socket right now. I'm using basically just the force of my fingers to drive the mounting nut on. I probably won't even put a ratchet on it. If you have a wrench that fits in there, just give it a tiny little bit, because if you snap that plastic off by pulling it too tight, this is going to fall off and it's not even going to seal up anymore, and you're going to be all over. And you're going to start this all over again, and now you have to find a new trim piece. Well, it's time to move on to the window itself, or the glass, and just like on the truck itself, you got to go around the whole frame, peel off the butyl tape, ignore my old trash dirty carpet that I used to protect the glass when it's on the table, otherwise I'd be working in the grass. Anyway, peel it all off, and I'm probably going to do the same soapy water solution that I did on the truck side, just so I can make sure it's degreased, clean of any dust and debris. So at this point we're ready to reinstall, and on these little grommets I'm not going to reuse them as they are. I'm actually going to put butyl tape over them. I'm not going to remove them either. I'll leave them. Doesn't hurt anything for them to be there. They're not in horrible condition. I'm sure they would reseal if I put them back, but I just don't trust them. So I'm going to put a little bit of butyl tape around the base of every little screw, and then once I go around the whole perimeter of this trim, it gets reinstalled, and then we can do the window. I have two broken bolts here, tabs, and I'm just going to plug the holes. It is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. On the glass, once you're ready to install it, you'll see that there's a channel that runs all the way across the top of it. If you look on the sides and on the bottom, there's a little bit here, but the rest doesn't really have a channel. What you want to do is get the butyl tape in the channel, and if you don't have a channel like here, you kind of just follow the exterior line of this. I'm also going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put some butyl tape around the studs. They're not sealed with anything at all, so if I don't, they will leak. One more tip, start at the bottom so that the split or the seam is at the bottom. Even though we're going to join it together, you don't want the split to be on the top, because if it ever separates, you're going to have a leak. I'm just going to put the third brake light back on now, that way it's done and out of the way. I know there's a bunch of junk still left up there and sticky goo, but I'll clean that up later. got it. Well, it's time to bolt it all on. Let's tighten it down. I'm going to start with the top for absolutely no reason. It doesn't really matter where you start. I will probably go around a few times because this butyl tape is going to squish. Obviously, you don't want to completely crush it to the point where you're starting to break the bolts or, you know, the plastic holding the bolts in. You don't want to squish it though. So make it a little snug and then go around another time, double check that all the bolts are the same because, you know, it'll squish as you go around. And then, well, I would say do it a third time just to make sure. You don't want to have to come back here if it does leak. So here we go. I actually forgot to clip the metal clips on here for the C-pillars, so I'm going to take these side nuts off, put the clips on, and then bolt them up. Alright, let's start making our rounds back around. Make sure everything is just as tight. Yeah, see, these over here loosened up a little. Might have made this one a little too tight. That should be good. Get the defroster reconnected and then the panels. Make sure the seat belt is routed properly, so make sure it doesn't get pinched. And then the bottom of this needs to go behind this rear panel, kind of like that. It's got some alignment pins and tabs and everything, but it should, for the most part, kind of fall into place. When you put the seatbelt anchor on, make sure it's all the way onto the machine surface, and it is supposed to spin. Obviously, it's not supposed to be stuck in place, so if you clamp it by accident with the nut like that, take it off and readjust it, because that's not supposed to happen. Also, don't forget to put this on like I just did. This was pretty tight when I took it off, so tight it is. Okay, other side. These do still have thread locker from the factory, so I'm not too worried about it. The two push clips on the headliner need to go back. These are long because they go all the way through, so make sure you find their hole and actually put them in. And if they don't hold, replace them, because that's going to be a very annoying headliner if it doesn't stay. Bunch of push clips on the back here. Some strong plastic threads, I'll tell you that. This one, I had the broken stud, so it's doing nothing. There, I fixed it. Okay, well, I did a little bit of vacuuming because this got kind of dirty from all the dirt dropping in here, and all that's left is to put all the belongings that were here back together. Just a tip for these seats: if you want to have an easier time putting the headrests back and, well, even taking them out, don't put them all the way back. Leave them folded partially. That's going to give you a whole lot more space up top. Ooh, a fry. forget to unlock your latches. Well, the window's resealed. I obviously still have quite a bit of cleanup to do from all the sticky mess, and I do also want to wash the inside of it because you can't really see on camera, but it's, oh, I guess you can see. Yeah, it's pretty dirty. So that's it for the job. It's pretty easy actually, but you obviously have to make sure you do it on a day when you can have this open for a few hours. With filming, just so you have an idea, it probably took me about 4 hours. So if I wasn't filming and I knew what I was doing, it would probably take me about an hour and a half. Honestly, it's not that big of a job, and it is definitely worth it because what's happening is water will start dripping here and there. At least in my case, it really could drip anywhere. But this is where it was dripping for me. I also just noticed I put this headrest backwards, so I'm gonna have to fix that. All right, anyway, job is done. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful, and don't forget to leave any tips or tricks in the comment section below if you've already performed this job, or you have anything else to say in regards to this. So having said that, I will see you in the next one. Just a quick note, you cannot put these headrests backwards because they only have slots on one of the legs that hold them in, unlike other cars that have slots on both. So no, my headrest is not backwards.